All right, so you're thinking about a contact center supervisor role, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, we're going to take RoleCatcher's career guide and
Hmm.
really break it down, give you the real deal.
Yeah.
The stuff that'll actually help you decide if this is the right path for you.
Yeah, it's one thing to read a job description, right? But it's a whole other thing to actually understand like the day-to-day, the challenges, the rewards, and let me tell you, this role, it's not for the faint of heart.
Okay, so the guide uses words like fast-paced and dynamic, but let's be honest, sometimes that's just code for chaotic. What are we really talking about here?
Think about like the busiest day you've ever had at a job, right? Now add in a constant stream of customer issues, maybe some like tech headaches, and then a whole team that needs your guidance. It can get pretty intense. But for some people, that's the excitement of it.
Right, so you're saying it's not just about liking people, you've got to thrive under pressure. What about these long hours everyone always mentions?
Yeah. The 24/7 nature of contact centers is a big one. You'll likely be working evenings, weekends, maybe even some holidays, especially as you're moving up. Work-life balance can be tough, especially early on.
For sure. The guide mentions those competitive salaries, though,
Mm.
and good opportunities for advancement. But are those the only parte perks, besides the thrill of never knowing what the day will bring?
Well, think about the leadership skills you develop. You're managing a team, often under pressure, making quick decisions that impact both customers and your team's performance. Those are invaluable skills, no matter where your career takes you.
So even if someone doesn't stay in contact centers forever, this could be an amazing experience. What about the challenges, though? What don't people expect?
One thing I've seen trip people up is the emotional toll. Dealing with frustrated customers all day, every day, requires a certain resilience. You need to know how to de-stress and not take things personally.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's customer service, but on another level. So it sounds like you really need to be honest with yourself about what you want out of a job and what you can handle before diving into this world.
Absolutely. It's a demanding but rewarding field. And understanding your own strengths and limitations is crucial.
Okay, so you're feeling up to the challenge. But how do you actually land one of these contact center supervisor roles? The guide mentions AI filtering applicants now, and RoleCatcher has that whole section on using their tools to get past the bots. What's your take on that?
Well, it's not just about using a specific tool, right? Although those can definitely be helpful. It's more about really understanding how AI is changing the hiring process. Think of it like this. Imagine you have this giant stack of resumes, and you're looking for very specific keywords and phrases related to the job. That's essentially what the AI is doing.
So it's not enough to just say you're a people person or a problem solver anymore. You've got to
Yeah.
be way more specific.
Exactly. You have
Yeah.
to go back to that job description.
Hmm.
Look for the exact skills and experience they're asking for, and then make sure those are reflected in your resume, and not just in like a general skills section, but within your actual work experience descriptions. Right? That's where those concrete examples come in. Like instead of saying managed a team, you'd say successfully led a team of 10 representatives to exceed customer satisfaction goals by 15%.
Now you're speaking the AI's language.
Right.
But it doesn't stop at the resume. A lot of companies are now using AI for those initial screening interviews, too.
No way. So you could be talking to a bot and not even know it.
Well, it's more likely to be like a one-way video interview where you're answering pre-recorded questions
Yeah.
and the AI is analyzing your responses, your body language, even your tone of voice.
Wow. That's both fascinating and terrifying. So how do you even prep for that?
Practice, practice, practice. RoleCatcher's interview prep section can be helpful here. The key is to get comfortable talking about your experience in a clear, concise way, even without that human interaction.
It's like you're training for a performance. But instead of a live audience, it's an algorithm judging you. Yeah, and just like with any performance, preparation is key. Anticipate the common interview questions for these contact center supervisor roles, and then practice your answers. Record yourself. Listen back. Are you getting your points across clearly? Do you sound confident?
So even with all this AI, it sounds like the fundamentals of interviewing still matter. Being prepared, showcasing your experience, demonstrating those all-important soft skills.
Absolutely. Think of AI as a tool to help you refine your skills, not something to be afraid of. By the time you're actually face-to-face with the hiring manager, you'll have already impressed them with your qualifications and your ability to navigate this new world of hiring.
Okay, so let's say you've wowed the AI, aced the interview, and you're officially a contact center supervisor. What's next? RoleCatcher's guide maps out this whole career path, but what does it really look like in practice?
Yeah, it's easy to kind of think of a career ladder as this straight line.
Ah.
But the reality is it's often a lot more, I don't know, dynamic, especially in a field like contact centers that's constantly evolving.
So you start as a contact center agent, right? That's where you learn the ropes. Handling calls, emails, chats. Basically every way a customer can reach out these days.
And it's not just about like answering questions. You are the company's voice, setting the tone for that customer's entire experience. You need to be empathetic, efficient, able to think on your feet.
Right. The guide mentions that some people move up to senior contact center agent first. What kind of a jump is that?
So you're not just handling calls at that point. You're becoming a resource for your colleagues. Think about those really tricky customer situations. The ones that require like extra finesse or knowledge, you're the one they escalate to.
Okay, so you're handling the tough stuff. Maybe even like mentoring newer agents, almost like being a supervisor, but without the official title.
Exactly. And that experience is so valuable. When you DO step into that contact center supervisor role, you already have a deep understanding of the challenges your team faces, the systems they use, the importance of that consistent customer service.
Speaking of the supervisor role, RoleCatcher lists a ton of responsibilities. Training, performance analysis, even collaborating with other departments. Did I miss anything?
Don't forget motivation. A big part of your job is keeping your team engaged and productive, even when the pressure's on. Remember that emotional resilience we talked about earlier. You'll need that in spades as a supervisor.
So you're not just managing tasks, you're managing people, emotions, stress levels. That's a whole other skill set.
Absolutely. And that's why those certifications that RoleCatcher mentioned can be so valuable.
Right. They list a few: call center supervisory certification, customer service management certification.
Yeah.
What makes those so important?
They demonstrate a commitment to professional development. Think about it from a hiring manager's perspective. They see those certifications and it tells them, you're serious about this career path. You're taking the initiative to stay ahead of the curve.
It's not just about what you know. It's about showing that you're actively learning and growing, like that extra edge in a competitive job market.
Exactly. And speaking of gaining an edge, let's talk about networking for a sec. This isn't just about attending conferences and collecting business cards, though.
Right. It's more about building those genuine connections. The guide mentions joining professional associations, connecting with people on LinkedIn.
Those are all great ways to start, but the real magic happens when you actually engage with those connections. Share your experiences, learn from others, build relationships that go beyond just like a quick chat at a conference.
So you're saying networking, when done right, can open doors to new opportunities, mentorships, even just different perspectives that can help you grow in your role.
Precisely. The contact center world, it's surprisingly interconnected, and those relationships can be so invaluable throughout your career.
So to wrap things up for our listeners today, it seems like the contact center supervisor path, it can be challenging, demanding, but ultimately really rewarding. What's the one thing you wish someone had told you before entering this field?
Embrace the unexpected. This industry is constantly changing, especially with AI and automation playing a larger and larger role. Be open to new technologies, new ways of working, and never stop learning. Those who can adapt and evolve will be the ones who truly thrive.
That's great advice. A contact center supervisor. It's not just a job title, it's a launchpad to a dynamic and evolving career. Think about what we've discussed today, and if you're up for the challenge, go for it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.